Peter Billingsley is back as Ralphie Parker in A Christmas Story Christmas, where now in 1973 he's all grown up with a wife and family of his own. But when his father unexpectedly passes away, Ralphie returns to his childhood home to console his mother, see old friends, and give his children the best Christmas experience that he can. Guys, we watched The Christmas Story, the sequel, the technically the third sequel in the line of, actually technically the fourth sequel in the line of A
Fourth?
Christmas Story. Yeah.
I thought it was just the third. I mean, I'd much rather just cancel out the Christmas Story 2
Yeah.
movie.
Well,
Just
there
like
was a
that didn't
TV.
happen.
Yeah, there was a last time we were talking. There's a TV movie that was called My Summer Story or something like that,
Oh,
which is like a sequel. It's in the same. It was written by the same guy, John, or the guy who wrote all the book
Gene
and
Shepherd.
Gene
Gene
Shepherd?
Shepherd. That's his name.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he wrote that TV movie, and it only aired on TV like a couple times, I think. So, yeah. So actually, you know what? So I got to say, in preparation for this, I watched the original because it's probably been 20 something years since I've seen it, and I was actually kind of pleasantly surprised at the first one. I remember it being a little bit more um, boring, let's say. I think I kind of appreciated it a little bit more as an adult, and then I immediately watched the sequel, and I'm glad I did it that way. I'm glad I watched the original and then doing the sequel right after, because all the references. This is just chocked full of references.
Oh
I don't
yeah.
think I've ever seen any other movie that has more references than this movie to its original
Yeah,
source.
if you haven't seen the original Christmas Story, you have to watch that first before you actually try to even go into this one.
Yeah, I started watching the sequel. I've seen the original one, and I've probably seen it like 10 to 12 hours, but in just whatever's on TV. And I got about 10 minutes in, and I said, you know what? I'm going to go watch the original first. And so
Yes.
went back and watched the original, and I'm glad I watched the original just to glue all the scenes together in my
Yep.
brain of how the
Yeah.
original
Well,
worked.
even just to not even for anything else, just to appreciate the filmmaking aspect of the second one,
Mhm.
because I loved how it gave you the same feel as the first one,
Yeah.
and it's
Yeah.
just, it's very rare that a movie can do that, especially so long after the first one was made.
Yeah, the dream sequences, or him just daydreaming of different scenes, those are just a straight rip from the original movie, which I enjoyed the cutscenes for this movie, because I mean it's so drastic and so out there and so unbelievable that it's a fun break from the movie, I guess.
It's kind of showing the mind of Ralphie,
Ralphie.
how he's
Yeah.
still a kid.
Mhm.
You know, he's still a kid, and he's a creative person. You know,
Well, I
writing
guess
a
it's just like
novel and
when
a sequel to the novel before that novel's even published.
yeah,
You
and I
know,
noticed, I don't know if you guys noticed this, but like when he's sitting at the desk when he's at that publisher, they frame it in a way though it's like he looks small. It looks
yes,
like he's still a kid, and he's like at the teacher's desk or something like that. And
yep,
it is almost like the same shot of when he gave the teacher an apple, and now he's
We'll give her
given
that
the
fruit
publisher,
basket.
or the fruit basket.
the
That's
fruit
right.
basket. Yeah.
Yeah, and and now he's given the publisher like a tree full of candies or whatever. It's still
Which
a
was liquor.
bribe. Yeah.
But
Or was it liquor?
Yeah, I think it was like little shots of liquor
Oh,
or
I
whatever in
didn't I
there.
didn't see the
uh,
inside of it.
mm.
I just thought it was candies or something.
but yeah, I'm glad you said that, Kyle, because I've noticed that a couple of times in the film,
Mhm.
and my wife actually pointed it out. She's like, it was the scene where he was running out to get the star.
Oh, yeah.
And he was at the front door putting on his coat, and he's talking to his wife, and she's like, "It's okay. Is it? You don't need to do it." He goes, "No, I'm gonna, I'm gonna make this right. I'm gonna get a star." And he looks so small. My wife
Mhm.
goes, "Well, he's a little fella, isn't he?" We looked it up, and he's like 5'9.5". Because we're
Oh.
like,
Yeah,
oh,
so
he's
it's like
got to be
average
like
height.
5'6", 5'5", something like that, right? That's what we thought. He's 5'9.5". But his wife throughout the whole movie looks so much taller than him.
Oh.
Well, did
Yeah,
you look her
I,
up?
I, I saw
She
that.
And they're only a quarter inch apart. She's a quarter inch shorter than him in real life. So that
Oh,
was
yeah.
so I
that
guess
had to be a
yeah,
conscious decision on the filmmaker's part
to
to
still
make
make
him
him
look
look small.
smaller.
Yeah, could be just to kind of
Yeah.
give that kid feel.
I don't know if I call all those scenes a straight rip though. I mean,
No, it's not
more
a
like a
rip.
homage, right? It's
Yeah,
like
it's
a
a plain homage.
hand.
Yeah,
Yeah. And
Well, there's a bunch of them.
yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, it didn't ever feel shoehorned in though. It always kind of just like felt passive in the background. I went in this movie not thinking it was going to be really good. Just again, rebooting movies it just feels lazy at this
Mm.
point. But yeah, I'm happy to say that these guys did a great job with this one.
I think so too.
I actually thought it was going to be about the kids. It's like, did you enjoy the preview? We watched the preview a couple
Mhm.
weeks ago
Mhm.
on the show, on the live stream. I
Yeah.
think I can't remember
Yeah.
when I watched it. Preview, I couldn't really tell much
hmm
of like I couldn't get like a grasp on what the movie was. But
I mean, I
did
felt
you
kind of
did you
like
go in excited or did you go in thinking it was going to be a cheap knockoff kind of movie?
I was kind of 50-50. I was hoping that it wasn't going to be a cheap knockoff, and I was hoping that it would still bring I guess the first one kind of brought the magic of Christmas, just because. I mean, as a kid, watching this movie, I was like, okay, I really wanted a Red Ryder BB gun, and I actually,
Is that why you're wearing glasses now?
yeah, you'll shoot your eye out, kid.
You'll shoot your eye out, kid.
But no, the scene where in the original one where the dad hid the Red Ryder BB gun behind the tree, that actually happened in real life for me, because my parents were like, okay, let's play a Christmas Story, prank on him. Let's just get him something that he was like, okay, yeah, okay, that's Merry Christmas, whatever. But then say, oh look, what's behind the tree there, and that's how I actually got my Red Ryder BB gun. So I thought that was cool for the first one, but like, I don't know, some of the scenes, like when the kids were on, it just felt fake. I don't know if you guys got that or not. I didn't really particularly like the kids, and I think that's what I like the most about the original one is everything based from a kid's perspective.
It felt authentic. More
Yeah,
authentic.
I mean, the first one was based all on Ralphie, which is fine. But it's more of a kid perspective. This one, I guess it continues on, but the kids are kind of like, shoved a little bit to the side.
Well, it's all about.
It's all about Ralphie again.
Yeah.
It's about the parents'
writing.
struggle to make the perfect Christmas for their kid.
I felt it was a lot about his writing too. Like I
Yeah.
felt like
Oh, yeah,
the
it was
main
about that, too.
storyline was his book, and the adjacent storyline is we also have to do Christmas.
Yeah.
But but to go back to what the question you asked, Rowan, I went in. I was very excited. I'm the opposite of, I guess, Justin and Rowan, that I watch this once or twice a year. It's like in my brother-in-law's house, Die Hard is on Christmas. This one's on Christmas, and the original Christmas Story is on in my house, right? Just on repeat all day.
Well, yeah, if it was on TBS or something like that for a straight 24 hours on
all
Christmas
the time.
Day.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Turn it on.
they started doing that in 1997, playing it for 24 hours every day.
Wow.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
because it's like no matter what part you pay attention, you're like, oh, I remember this scene, and you kind of watch the whole movie over the span of 4 or 5 hours.
Yeah, I can't tell you how many times I've watched it, but it's at least 2 full times sitting down actually watching it every year. It's one of my favorite Christmas movies. So I went in, I was very, very excited about it, and I was surprised. I was surprised that it was as good as it was, that as good as it is. I'm surprised too that it had me laughing as much as it did. And I teared up a few times too, talking about the old man and and reminiscing about him, because we're getting up there in age. And so we're kind of the same age. I think we're the same age as Peter Billingsley, aren't we?
So the original movie's in no.
The original movie
I'm
was
not mistaken.
1983.
Yeah, same. Yeah, birth year.
Well, I mean, he was born
but
in
he's already
71,
like
so he's about 10
Yeah,
years.
he's already like 8 years or 10
7
years
or
old.
8
Yeah.
in the movie.
Yeah, he's 10 years older than us. But yeah, I mean, so we're we're kind of there. We're in that same realm. But yeah, I really really liked it, and something I was very pleasantly surprised. I mean, my favorite character, Mrs. Parker, the mom.
Yeah, they did
And
a really good
she
job with her
was
replacement.
hilarious.
They're just carolers.
Exactly. They're just like ticks. Once they get to your door, you can't get rid of them. Hide. Hide.
You're kidding, right?
No.
Let's talk about so the people that come back to reprise their roles, right? So
Mhm.
obviously Peter Billingsley comes back. You know, he
Yep.
reprises his role as Ralphie. But then we also have Flick, who they introduce. He is now a bar owner in the town. What did your wife say, John, about Flick?
When they did the cut scene back to the flagpole incident.
Oh yeah.
She's like, okay, so that's Flick. That she goes, he did not age well at all. I mean, she was appalled.
Well, didn't they say that it was Flick's old man that owned the bar, and he
Yes.
basically just took it over,
Pass
so
it down. Yeah.
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 He
And then, of
inherited
course-
it from him.
Of course, Schwartz is just a guy that's like, oh, my friend owns a bar, so I'm just going to drink there all the time. And
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
who wouldn't?
I've never
right?
been to a Midwest bar before, but I kind of want to go.
Yeah, because
Looks fun.
very like hometown feeling, and they just close the door and put the paper plate on it and go,
Yeah.
off for 15 minutes. And we got a couple neighborhood bars in the city here, but never been to like a Midwest bar like that.
Yeah, these drunk asses are gonna go jump a sled thing for a minute.
Yeah, that was
but
pretty wild scene.
but I was gonna say honestly, I think the guy who plays Flick, I can't think of his real name here.
Scott Schwartz.
Scott Schwartz. Okay.
It's funny because
Which
his
is
friend's name is
which is
Schwartz.
hilarious.
Yeah. I felt like he was the worst actor. I'll just say that in this film. I thought he was the least performant of all of them. His delivery of his lines just felt so odd.
Hmm.
It's really hard to explain. It felt forced. Am I the only one?
He's not is he a professional actor? I mean, I checked out the.
I mean, he was a kid in the
IMDb's of all the
original. I don't
previous
know if he's
characters.
done anything since then.
He's
Yeah, I
done
know there's a lot of
stuff,
like
but-
production stuff, but
Yeah, he's done stuff, but not anything major.
it didn't jump off the screen to me as like bad
Yeah.
acting. It usually irritates me a lot when you see like wooden acting.
Mhm.
It didn't jump off the screen at me though.
Well, what about Schwartz? That guy also reprised his role.
I thought he did well.
I thought he was
Yeah.
all right. Yeah, I mean, he's pretty much the kind of the kid that runs around following everyone. You know, he's the okay, I'll follow you guys, but never the let's take charge type person. Which I thought was kind of a character arc in a way for Schwartz to actually commit to doing something. Now he did put his tongue on the flagpole.
Well, that was short.
That was
Yeah, that's what
Yeah.
I said. Schwartz is all the guy. He was usually the guy that just follow along. But
yeah,
I mean, if you triple dog dare you, then okay, that's just a new level, and he has to do it. So I like that he actually went through with the ramp, which everything about that scene was cringy, and I hurt myself just watching it. It's like everybody's like, ooh, ooh.
yeah. Because I mean,
It was a very
that's-
cool that overhead shot that they do of him as he's flying through the
Mhm.
sky is pretty creative. And you see
Yeah.
everybody below and all their reactions to it and all. I like that.
the speaking of that scene in particular, but the writing throughout the whole film, but especially in that scene, is great, because that is exactly what they're saying, what Ralphie is saying in his inner monologue that we're hearing is exactly what I was thinking. I'm like, he's gonna break something. He's too old. 40-year-old should not be doing this. I'm going, what is he gonna do? I'm looking at that ramp and I'm going, how's he gonna land? He's gonna kill himself. And sure enough, in the movie, that's what he's saying. He's like, he's gonna die, right?
Yeah.
So it's the writing I think was great. The one thing that I had an issue with that I felt that was out of place
Mhm.
was the character of Larry Novak.
Nope, sorry, Mrs. Novak. Larry's not here. Yes, you have a Merry Christmas as well.
Ever wonder what happened to your high school quarterback? Ours turned into good old Larry Novak.
Yeah, did that come out of left field? Like,
Yeah,
It did. It
Nope.
did. I don't remember
Sure
Larry
did.
Novak in the original.
there
He's
it
not
wasn't.
in the original.
No,
And I don't know why it was there.
It doesn't
Unless Henry
add
Miller was
anything.
a friend. Yeah, when
he is
finishes the
somewhat of
casserole.
a comedic relief, but I mean, the whole cast is comedy skit.
Yeah.
So you don't really need like somebody also doing comedic relief while everybody else is being comedic. You know, that's
Yeah, I'm not
kind of
sure.
weird. You're just throwing.
Yeah,
in
you
a
could have left that
different character.
guy totally out of the movie, and you
Yeah.
wouldn't have noticed. It wasn't like he was terrible or anything. It just seemed super unnecessary because I watched back to back the original and then this one, and the scene where he's introduced, he calls him a quarterback, and I was like, "What? These kids were children. They weren't playing football. There was no quarterback or what?" And yeah, so it's just a guy, a local guy at the bar that sits there. I was also pretty confused. I was like, "What is he, a character that's important to the story?" Not really.
Do you think he was maybe in Christmas Story 2? Because I haven't seen Christmas Story 2,
Ooh.
or I haven't seen the TV series or whatever it is, or the summer story. I don't know if he was a character in any of those.
So I can answer that. They've in this world, this universe of A Christmas Story, Christmas, whatever the fuck it's called. By the way, can we address the title real quick? I don't like this title. I think this title just needs to go away. It's too wordy. I thought of a better title. In my opinion, I think it should have been called Another Christmas Story.
Boom.
Boom. And then just be like he's
That's way better.
continuing his father's story. You know, he's continuing his father's legacy, a lot of that stuff. So
Or you could
my
just
biggest
do,
gripe
like,
with the whole movie.
an older Christmas Story. I don't know.
Yeah.
Or a comma. A comma would help.
Yeah.
Yeah. A Christmas Story, comma, Christmas.
Sure.
Or just say
That
what
would
it
fix
is.
it for me.
Just say what it is. It's the new Christmas Story.
Yeah.
Pretty
It's
much
the new one.
anything but what they picked.
Exactly.
Don't use the word Christmas twice in the title of the movie.
A Christmas
There's
Story.
I don't think there's
Christmas.
any arrangement of using the word Christmas twice that sounds natural.
Well, and then with only one word as a separating word between the two. So A Christmas Story, Christmas. But no, to answer your question, Kyle, no, in this universe, they ignore the other two sequels. So this
Okay.
is supposed to be like a direct.
That's what I kind of felt
sequel
like,
right
just
from the
because they didn't bring anything up front that I was like, wait, where did that come from? Except for the football player.
Yeah, I think he's
And-
just, all these kids grew up, from elementary to middle high school. He was probably a high school quarterback or something who is drinking his hair away.
Well, a character that was actually in the original one and in this one was Zach Ward, or Scut.
Scott Farkas. There he was with those same yellow eyes. Dear God, he still had yellow eyes.
So I've watched this movie. I've watched the original my entire life. I just told you guys how much I like this movie. I thought that guy's name was Scott Fargus,
Yeah.
Now,
not Scott
Scut Farkas.
Fergus.
Farkas.
Farkas. See, I don't even know it now. I just, wow.
Okay, so that scene in particular, when he was the cop and he was arresting Ralphie, I'm like, this is the best scene. Because the original movie was all about Ralphie, overcoming his fear with this bully or taking this bully down. And now they're meeting back with each other. And I'm like, okay, the roles are completely reversed. Now Ralphie's the bully or just the criminal. And now Scott is the lawman. He's the one for good, supposedly. And that whole scene in the cop car I think that was brilliant.
Yeah,
I
it
have a
was pretty good.
problem.
You have a
I
problem?
have, I have a problem.
You have a problem with it?
I have a problem with
Yeah.
Is it because he's budget Matt Damon?
it. He is budget, Matt Damon. But no, it's not. My issue is, okay, I am Ralphie. I'm driving past Flicks. I back up my car. I see the star. I get out of my car, I break in, I come out, I'm arrested, put into a back of a police car, and driven home. Why? My car is still at Flicks.
Yeah.
It doesn't make sense to me. You kidnapped me and took me home. Now I have to go back and get my damn car.
I thought that too, John. When he pulled up to his house, he said, "This is your house, right?" I was like, "But where's his car?"
Yeah, it's like his
make him
car.
go
I'm
and
like,
get his car.
Well, no, the whole thing was he was taking him to jail. That was
Well,
what I was led to.
I know, but now I got to go get my
Not-
car. It's Christmas Eve. I'm not going to have a car on Christmas.
You're gonna have to go get his car if you're thrown in jail.
I don't think he was ever intentionally taking him to jail. I think that's where the filmmakers wanted you to believe they were taking him. But
And just to think that, okay, his car's still at the bar. Well, yeah, because he was picked up by the police. He was arrested.
I'm pretty mixed on that scene because it definitely has a different tone than the rest of the movie, and
I liked it.
It's a tense scene. And you're like, whoa, where'd this tense scene come from? Out of this, like happy-go-lucky movie, and then now all of a sudden there's this tense scene. I didn't know if it was gonna turn around and shoot him or something. I had no, kind of like police abuse is gonna happen here. And it plays out the way I thought it would play out, but I never really thought about the car as kind of a pain in the ass. So you got to go back to the car,
especially if it's snowing. And
well, I guess
thanks, Scott. I appreciate it, brother.
Yeah, it's weird. They didn't even like shake hands or anything at the end.
Well, I guess they were kind of
they
were rivals when they were
shook
kids,
hands, right?
Oh,
no, they just left. They just like walked away.
I thought they shook hands.
See you later,
nerd.
Yeah, see you in another 33 years, old man. Yeah, because that's what I loved about the scene is just because they hadn't seen each other. Well, we don't really assume, or we assume that they haven't seen each other in 33 years. But see, it's like, okay, what actually happened on the day-to-day life after he took over the bully? What happened after he, beat the snot out of him? So I mean, obviously he became a cop and
bully
changed
became
his life.
A cop. No way.
Yeah.
Something else I really did. I laughed at, and I don't know. I want to know if you guys saw it. The tumbleweed.
Yes.
In the
with the string.
The string. You can see the string pulling it.
We meet again, Ralphie.
I thought that was so funny to me.
Yeah, I laughed out loud at that.
I totally wrote that off mainly because it was imaginary and it was from like a kid's perspective, right? So I mean, why not have a string pull a tumbleweed?
It was great.
Just make just make it really cheesy, because that's what all they are is they're cheesy, daydreaming scenes. So I liked it.
I really did like the aspect of how he was dealing with the death of his father through having to write the obituary and all that. I think that it sounds cliche because it kind of is. Like there's a few movies that have that same kind of prop buildup. But I like the way it works in this movie, especially how he ends up writing, that his novel or whatever, My Old Man.
Yeah.
It kind of comes full circle, and I don't know. It was a little teary up there at the end. Yeah, it was nice.
Did you see it coming?
I didn't think that was cliche at all, though. I thought that was I think the cliche thing to do would be you make this movie about the kids, and then the kids like somehow have the same experience that the parents had, and you kind of just living the story through the kids again. I think that would have been cliche. I thought the writing was awesome. I thought making the movie kind of about this guy's writing and then everything to do with the second movie is kind of just adjacent to that storyline. I thought it was good. Well,
that's not what I was saying. I thought what I was saying is the son having to write his own father's obituary. I've seen that in a few movies. Like I was saying, that small little plot point.
Oh, gotcha. That
what I like
device.
about it,
Okay.
but what I like about it is what you're saying is how they morphed it. They took that idea and then they morphed it and kind of expanded it and goes, okay, this guy's a writer who can't write, so he can't write the obituary. But through his experience that he's had dealing, being the father figure for his own son and daughter, he's able to write this whole story about his old man. That's what I like about it.
Now, I have a question for Kyle. Kyle's as close to a Yankees we're going to get out there in the Midwest.
Wow, that was fighting words right there.
You're
buddy.
as close as we're going to get
Holy
in
cow.
our group of friends here.
Before you say anything, should we make a disclaimer for anybody in the Midwest that's watching your show?
Look, I love everybody. It's
Okay.
just,
I'm from the show me
I'm
state,
from the
all right?
South, and if you're above the Mason-Dixon, you're a Yankee. That's how it is. That's how it works. Honestly, if you're above the Florida line, you're a Yankee to me.
Oof.
But no, I'm
Sir.
kidding. I'm
Sir.
kidding. I'm kidding. It's a joke.
Yeah.
Anyway, the egg in the radiator thing.
Ah, there is no nobler a sacrifice for the common egg than the ingenious automotive repair known as the Midwest Souffle. One serving temporarily seals any bum radiator.
Is that
I
thing, Kyle?
have heard of it, yes, but it's kind of like an urban legend or a myth. Not urban legend, but it's just a myth that it's like if you put an egg in the radiator, it'll stop it.
So
kind of like pepper. I've heard you put pepper in the radiator, it'd stop it.
I haven't heard of pepper. I have heard of egg though.
Dude, Florida man.
So I looked this up actually because I was curious because I've never heard of such a thing. In fact, when they were doing it, I was like, "What? Does that work?"
Say what? This could help me before.
Yeah, exactly. No, apparently it is a thing. It's an old trick. But you're only supposed to put the white of the egg, not the yolk. And what it does is it does fill in radiator leaks and stuff like that, and enough for it to get you to a stop to fix it.
Yeah, because I mean, in the movie though, they did show the car barely making it to the house.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because they had radiator issues and they threw an egg in there, and then the car was smoking by the time they pulled into the driveway. So I mean, it did work, but yeah, it did get them to their destination. So I mean, I've heard of it, but I've always thought it was just a myth. It's like, something that put your iPhone in the microwave and it'll become a pro instead of a standard phone or something stupid. I don't know.
Disclaimer: Midwesterners, don't put your iPhone in the microwave.
Don't put eggs in your radiator. Even if it works a little bit, I'm telling you, you're gonna have an expensive repair down the road. It's like this idiot put food in his car.
If you do have an egg in your radiator, then get your I guess she was 8-year-old daughter to go and blackmail Bumpus.
Oh my god, yeah.
With his dog and get a radiator.
What's your angle? If you want your adorable little puppy back, I want a reward. What kind of reward?
Like, come on, man.
You just reminded me of the hardest I laughed in this movie, and I mean, I don't know how I forgot this, but it's when their car does break down and they're having the snowball fight. And the daughter pops up out of nowhere.
Oh, yes. Just gets annihilated.
She just goes,
she fucking drops like a rock.
It was great.
I bet you can't hit me!
Want to bet?
Yes, you can! No, you can't!
Oh, yeah? Watch this!
Get him, Dad!
Oh, my God, I killed Julie!
It was,
awesome.
that made me laugh so hard.
Yeah.
It was done really well, too.
See, and I thought the Christmas presents were actually going to get stolen when they were having the fight, when they're having the snowball fight, because they alluded to it. The trunk popped open just a little bit. I either thought they were going to get stolen or the kids were actually going to see the gifts in the back.
That's what we thought. That's what we thought in my house was like the kids are going to see the kids are going to see the presents and the magic of Christmas is going to be ruined.
Right.
That's what we thought.
It almost ruined my night, that scene. I'm just so annoyed that there's this great scene of them shopping and they get all the presents and everyone and things aren't going well, but they're going okay. And then their present, some asshole steals all their presents from the back of the car. I was in a bad mood.
Or was it the?
And they don't even resolve it either, right? That it's just like, nope, that's just gone.
Yeah,
it couldn't have been Mother Parker though. Couldn't have been her.
No, she was drunk off her out of her gourd.
Yeah, she was passed out in the hospital.
I'm coming. No, mom, stay in the car. Stay in the car. Okay. That was great.
Well, so what do you guys think of this movie? Are we going to recommend it? What's I'm going to start with Kyle.
Totally recommend it. I watched the original one. Original was great. Watch this one. it definitely leaves a good impression on the series.
Yeah, Rowan, what
Yeah.
do you think?
Not only do I recommend it, I like it more than the original. I'd be pretty neat if instead of for 24 hours they play A Christmas Story. I think it's good enough to like slice it in there to play A Christmas Story than the 2022 one and the original in 2022
Oh, yeah.
one. So maybe we'll see something like that in the future. But yeah, it's great.
Maybe.
Yeah, John.
Yep, you took the words right out of my mouth. Right out of my mouth. That's what I was gonna say.
That's Justin's fault because I went
due-
second and he
is
picked me.
due. Yeah, thanks, Justin.
I'm going just
Um,
counterclockwise on my
You
screen.
took just take the original Christmas Story and then play the Christmas Story Christmas. Just 24 hours of that, or you know what, double it, 48 hours of it. I'll
Oh my
take
God.
48 hours of it. It's great. I think it's watch it now.
What say you, Justin?
I think I'd like to just see that little girl get beamed over and over and,
Oh my
and
God.
repeat. But no, I'm with you guys. I highly recommend this movie. It's a good. I think it's a good family movie. I think it benefited of me watching the original right before this. Because there's a lot of inside jokes that you might not get. But yeah, I definitely recommend it.
Cool.
So there you go, everybody. We're 4 out of 4 on that, I believe, and so we recommend A Christmas Story. No, we recommend Another Christmas Story because
There you
I'm
go.
officially changing the title right now. The movie that we're actually going to be watching is called The Ginger Dead Man. It's a Christmas horror movie, and it looks fantastic. And it stars Gary Busey for about 30 seconds. And then he plays
That's not
the
entirely
voice. Then he plays the voice of the gingerbread man for the rest of the movie. So I think we're gonna have a lot of fun talking about that one. So join us again next Saturday, and we'll see you guys then later.
See ya.
See ya.
See ya.